9/11. To this day, that still bothers me deep. That someone could take a plane and fly into a building full of people who they don't know, had no understanding and connection with, all based off of some inability to communicate properly. That's crazy. And it reignited my desire to go to the Marine Corps. And so I called up Coach and said, hey, listen, did you just see what happened on TV? He said, yeah. I said, I'm going to the Marine Corps, I'm packing my stuff up, can you come get me? And he said, yes, I understand. Coach came up with my little brother Jake and Taylor, packed myself up and we left. 2 months later, I found myself in notorious Parris Island, getting ate up by sand fleas. Just happened to be, I picked like one of the hottest months to be down in South Carolina. However, I went prepared, I was focused, and it was something that I always desired to do, so I did extremely well. I ended up being an honor grad. I ended up having a killer PFT score. It was something that I really enjoyed doing. And so, after completing boot camp, we continued on with the Marine Corps training and so forth, and then came time for me to go overseas. Ended up overseas. This is when I met my wife, who is a Marine herself, as you all know. A lot of people went overseas and never made it back. Fortunately, I was able to come back home. And I went to my new duty station in Louisiana. Just so happened that my dad was stationed there as well. I tried to build a relationship with my dad multiple times while I was down there. I used to work long hours doing security. And so I also took a private security job. I used to guard an A+ gas station in which kids used to come in there with guns on them and really have no regard for what they were doing. This is when I realized that they were suffering from the same situation in an area that was 5 times worse than where I came from. I'm talking about no opportunity, limited resources, limited decisions, maximized, houses just horrible looking. So I really understood that they almost didn't have no options. On top of the fact that a predator got a hold of them. When you're 10, 12 years old and you're walking around with a gun, that is not necessarily your decision. That's most likely an adult who encouraged that. Predators. And so one night while I was working down there, some kid walked in with a gun. And I remember because I happened to be on the phone with Coach and I said, hey, I gotta call you back. Some kid just walked in with a gun. And so this kid had a MAC-10 and he walked in, had it in his hand. I don't know if he was up to no good. He had a wife beater on, it just skinny, they looked like he ate too much. But I noticed that the safety was on the weapon. So he wasn't prepared or ready or even knew how to necessarily use it. And so I didn't pull my gun out on him. I could have pulled my gun out and been with him right to end his life. But I saw something in him that I saw in myself when I was a kid. And so I asked him, what do you got a gun for? And he says to me, what are you gonna do about a pig? So I'm not gonna do anything unless you try to do something you have no business doing, like rob the store, try to hurt the clerk, anything. And so I could see the wheels in his head turning. And he made the decision to walk out that door. I was freaked out. So that night I went to my dad's house. And I knocked on his door. And I noticed something about him that I noticed all the time, which was that he was drunk. My dad loved his alcohol more than he loved anybody else in his life. So I said, Dad, can I come in? hang out with you for a while. I had a rough day. He lets me in. I go sit down on the couch and begin to have a pretty reasonable conversation. I can't even remember what it was about, but it wasn't necessarily negative at first. But that was until he changed the topic and began to talk what he always talked, which was really horrible about my mom. Now, my mom wasn't perfect. However, she was there. She got left behind. He the one that ran. He played the victim. He didn't want to take responsibility for his actions. I have 2 older brothers doing life in prison because he abandoned that family. And he sat there and he wants to badmouth my mom. That was the night that I was no longer going to take that from him. And so I said to him, hey Dad, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you badmouth my mom and continue with the same insults and act like you don't want a relationship with me, because that's all I want. I don't want anything else from you but a relationship. Now, I was very timid and I kind of always tiptoed around his feelings. I knew some stuff about him. I knew he was getting paid for my sister, he was getting paid for myself, he was getting paid for my brothers, he had been getting paid for my mom, and never shared any of that with us. I didn't have no medical as a kid, I didn't have no dental as a kid. And that was all because of him. But I held that inside, and I never even told him to this day. So I tried to change the subject so it didn't get too heated. And I changed it to, hey, there's this new church I started going to. And they need a drummer, and my dad was an outstanding drummer. That made it matter. Whenever someone's not willing to go to church with you or whatnot, then that's kind of a red flag. So my dad took his glasses off and he sat them down on that table. And he looked up, and he got up and he walked into the bedroom. And this is when I heard something I'm very familiar with.